Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are yet again going to be talking about something really special on the channel here today. We are going to be talking about Batman Caped Crusader, the brand new animated Batman show, highly anticipated Batman. Now, I know there's been, I've honestly have not seen anything. Well, I take that back. I've been seeing good and somewhat bad about the series, and I'm going to be getting into both here in a minute. But again, if you guys have not seen this yet and you don't want to be spoiled, then I do recommend you leave the video. But if you have seen it and you want to drop your thoughts down in the comments, by all means. Again, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. If you do agree with me, cool. If not, either way, it's fine. The entirety of this series, you guys can watch this on Prime right now. It's only 10 episodes, about less than 30 minutes a piece, so that's not too bad. Typical, normal time run for an animated series for each episode. So the entirety of this run is, I would say, somewhat early on in Batman's career. I would say he may probably been doing this maybe a few years. Again, you had, from what I'm assuming, you had J.J. Abrams a part of this. You also had a couple others behind this as well that was part of from the Matt Reeves Batman. Now again, I was not a big fan of Matt Reeves Batman. I was not a big fan of that movie. Again, hopefully the second one will be a little bit better. Not a big fan of Robert Pattinson, but regards, I'm here for this Batman. The animation, first off, was not that bad. I will say that first off for the animation. It was not that bad. There was times when it was kind of janky. You kind of tell it was a little janky. It looks like that they really went off some of the animation that they've done for Invincible. They could have gotten the same ones to do that, which again, I do enjoy Invincible, but it's not the best animation that it could be in my opinion, but still overall decent animation. The design of Batman was a big throwback to Kevin Conroy's Batman, which I'll get to a little bit later. Now again, we do run into different characters as well as different villains in here as well. Some I don't really remember from the comics. You guys may have to help me out a little bit. Others very well. Now again, I'm going to be in spoilers here. So again, we do see Harvey Dent in here while he's running for mayor, running into different kind of backward deals so he can become mayor. Comes across a character by Thorne who actually tries to help him become mayor because of, again, we can get out of him, but when Harvey goes against him, that's how he gets acid thrown on him and he becomes Two-Face. So we do see him become Two-Face at the very end of this, and he does apparently pass away because of him trying to do the right thing by saving Barbara Gordon, because we do see where the split personalities go in hand between Harvey Dent and his older counterpart Two-Face. Now the design of that, I was not probably the biggest fan of. Maybe that's just me being a little bit biased because of the original concept of Two-Face, not only from the comics but also in the animated series with Kevin Conroy. So I'm more used to that version of Two-Face, but overall was not bad, was not the best in my opinion, but also I was kind of shocked of how quickly they were able to not only get rid of Dent, but at the same time kind of keep him around as long as they did. Having Batman be a certain way with Alfred, pretty much calling him Pennyworth through the entirety of the series. Again, he's done that off and on, but 9 times out of 10 he always addresses him as Alfred rather than Pennyworth. So I think he was still probably maybe getting used to calling him Alfred because again, he's trying to be serious all the time rather than just being on allowing Alfred in. So I don't know, I just kind of felt a little weird about that. And one thing I will say about Alfred, I don't mind how they tried to portray him, but I do not like the fact that they made him bigger in his size. Because again, Alfred, the way Alfred's always been, is a very slender, tall, older man. And again, I just don't like the design that they went with him, other than, of course, him being a little younger in this version and actually being there for him. Again, I just wish they would have made him, if they would have kept that design and make him look younger a little bit, but at the same time would have made him actually a skinnier, taller, slender man, I think it would have been a little bit better for the character. I just wasn't a fan of that. Another thing was, we got to see Harley in here, but there's going to be some issues I'm going to have with Harley. Now, again, the voice actress for Jamie Chung, again, I do like her as an actress. I will admit that. She was Vicky Vale in Gotham. I did not mind that version very much because, again, it was just there, so I was like, okay, I can get over it. Changing the race swapping of the character was a little bit like, they did the same thing with Barbara Gordon and even with Jim Gordon. I was not a fan of that. I wish they would just leave the characters alone and just leave them be and just have the character already established, and that way they could just be those characters that we know and love. And the thing I did not like about Harley was she was already, as we know, a therapist. And again, I did not mind her being like Bruce Wayne's therapist in this series when he loses his temper, but at the same time, I wish that we would have kept her somewhat in with just, you know, either Blackgate or Arkham, to where when she does meet Joker, then she'd become the Harley Quinn that we know and love, rather than having her already kind of doing something on the side. I really don't know how to feel about that. I don't know whether to like it or not like it. It's just there. I don't know how I feel about it, because again, I'm just so used to that version of Harley, you know, relying on Joker, and then gaining her freedom after she realizes all the things that Joker does to her, and then striking a relationship with Renee Montoya. Was not a big fan of that. Again, we already know that Harley's more likely bisexual, and then she does strike a relationship up with Poison Ivy at some point in the comics. We know this. It's just that didn't really make sense to me. At the same time, we got to see Clayface. We saw Clayface. Was okay with that. Saw the Colonial Gentleman. Was okay with that. Also saw Nocturna. It's been a while since I've seen that character. Had to be reminded. The one that had like a target mark on his face. I really didn't know a whole lot about that character. Or saw Killer Croc in here for a little bit. Was a cameo. There's some other cameos in here. I wasn't exactly sure all the cameos. There may have been some Easter eggs that I missed. Same thing with them trying to call Firefly Firebug, which was really stupid in my opinion. Just call him Firefly. That's what he is. He's Firefly. Just leave him alone. Call him Firefly. I'm just gonna say that. Another thing, having Bullock on the take, man. Again, he's always been a back and forth, and the only time I really remember seeing him on someone on the take is in Gotham, so maybe that's where they got the idea. I just wasn't a big fan of that, but I can somewhat get over it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, because again, I watched Gotham, I enjoyed Gotham, and we could have done a little bit better with that character, I think. Same thing with Penguin, gender swapping that character, giving Penguin kids, female. That was ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go out and say this. That was a little ridiculous, because it just was like, where exactly is this coming from? Why would they do this? Is it really a big deal? Yes and no. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of decisions in here I just don't agree with. But on the same side of the coin, they did pay heavily homage to Kevin Conroy's Batman, which again, I'm going to get into that here in a moment. We also got to see Catwoman. I did not mind Catwoman. Christina Ricci did, I think, a great job with this character, voicing Selena Kyle, having her go from a beautiful, rich tycoon to the cat thief that we know and love. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the design, I didn't mind the cat suit design. It was a little different. It was something a little more, I would say, sleeker and a little bit back when, rather than the kind of cat suit we know now. So I was not, against that. But again, there was heavy homage to Kevin Conroy's Batman. One of my, I would say, 3 favorite scenes that they definitely gave a lot of homage to is getting the thunder in the background, Batman standing on top of a building. That was a big homage. Another homage, I think, which was heavily implied, was when he saves Nocturna in an episode and pretty much covers her from the sun, even though a kid is telling him why she's a monster and he's carrying her so that way she's kept safe. That really brought a smile to my face and honestly almost a tear to my eye, because again, if you guys remember in Batman Unlimited, when he did pretty much almost the same thing for that one that he saved. I can't remember her name, but you guys hopefully know what I'm talking about. That was a great homage. I will definitely say that. It was a great homage to Batman. And at the same time, there was another one for him getting angry to his mom and father's death. Again, since he's been doing this not long, he's going to be still using that anger for what happened to his parents very early on, and still will later on in the career of Batman. So, again, with the very end of it, us seeing Joker at the very end, again, we can kind of see that they're going to be putting Joker in the next season, which I already kind of figured they were going to probably at some point. Same thing with what other characters are we going to be seeing. Other characters I think we could see, I got 3 to 4 ideas. I think we could see Scarecrow. I think we could see Killer Croc again. I think we could see maybe Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze. The main things, but that does worry me with Poison Ivy. I want them to make Poison Ivy actually Poison Ivy. The beautiful redhead that we know and love. Mr. Freeze, same story with him. Actually make him Mr. Freeze. Give him a wife, blonde wife that, he's trying to preserve to find a cure for her illness. Do that. Same thing with Scarecrow. Leave Scarecrow. Leave him do the same thing. Again, I think they were trying to pay a lot of homage to the previous Batman series, but at the same time, you could tell that DEI was in here, and I'm just not a fan of that. And them even having Barbara Gordon be the district attorney did not really make a whole lot of sense, because again, and having Jim Gordon already be police commissioner did not make sense either. It just was very early on to go, okay, all of a sudden now Barbara's this old and she's already DA and her dad's already commish. It just did not make sense. I understand this is a new series. I understand there's going to be people that don't like certain decisions and other decisions. Again, I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know. There's things I don't agree with, but I can let go and I can get by, and at the same time I can still try to enjoy the series. But at the same time, again, I'm going to be biased because I grew up with Batman the Animated Series with Kevin Conroy, watched the other Batman Animated Series, that was in '04. I enjoyed both those series, but again, I'm just one of those, I like certain ways for it to keep as Batman. And for all these people that are wanting to voice their opinions, is fine. But don't come out and play certain cards, because I've seen this on Twitter and I've seen on other things. People being called bigots, being called sexist, being called racist. It's not none of that. If you're actually going to be like that, then that's one way. But if you're just voicing your concern, then that's a whole nother reason. And that's all we're doing as Batman fans. That's all we're doing as fans in entertainment in general. If this DEI stuff stays out of entertainment, then it'd be 10 times better. Now, I don't know for 100% fact if that was involved in this. It wouldn't shock me, but again, they need to keep out of it, and they just need to leave entertainment alone. But I'm not going to try to get into all that, guys. Again, is Batman Kid Crusader worth a watch? In my opinion, yes and no. Depending on what kind of Batman fan you are, you may love it, you may hate it. You may be kind of in the middle like me. Or you may say, hey, season 1 was okay, but I'm waiting to see maybe what they can do better in season 2. And that's where I'm at. Again, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm not saying I love it. There's a lot of homage to the previous, earlyation of the Batman that we know and love, but again, unfortunately, Kevin Conroy is no longer with us, so he's not going to be doing the character anymore. Wish that he was still here, unfortunately, and I know a lot of us do, but again, we're going to have to continue the way with Batman, and hopefully that this series does well to Batman fans and actually gives the fans not only respect, but also the tribute that it deserves with that series that we know and love. But guys, what do you think about Batman Kid Crusader? Is it a good series? Is it a bad series? Is it something you want to get behind, something you want to support? Let's try to be considerate down in the comments down below. And guys, again, I'm not trying to come across in any way. I'm just being upfront and honest with my own opinions. I'm not saying I'm giving any hate to the actors. I'm not saying I gave any hate to this. Again, I just wish that there was a little bit more consideration on these characters and how fans are going to react to these characters when they get changed. Again, you don't go into a franchise and you change it just because to fit your narrative. That's all I'm saying. And again, we need to respect the decision of the creations of these characters and the ones who create them. That's all I'm going to say. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you as always on the next one.